Hello everyone. Welcome to Turkish series stars. All the details are in our video. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video so more people can join us. Thank you so much. Tonight, the spotlight turns to Elçin Sangu, who has been making headlines not only for her work but for her heart. Known for her magnetic presence and unforgettable performances, Elçin stepped in front of cameras after a recent event and, for the first time, spoke about the chapter that has kept the gossip world buzzing, her emotional history with Barış Arduç. With a voice trembling and eyes shining with unshed tears, Elçin didn't hide behind polite phrases or evasive statements. She let the truth sit plainly between her and the microphones. "I regret having a relationship with Barış," she said, and the room went quiet. Those words carried the weight of a story we all thought we knew, of looks exchanged on set, of shared laughter between takes, and of a connection that seemed to leap off the screen and into real life. But as she continued, it became clear that the romance so many adored had also taken its toll. She took a breath, steadying herself, and added that sometimes you listen to your heart, only to realize later how much it has drained you. "I learned so much in this process. Maybe I trusted some people too much," Elçin admitted gently, as if every syllable had to fight its way out. People nearby say she didn't plan to speak so candidly, but when the question arrived, softly asked and impossible to ignore, she let the dam break. From the very beginning, their closeness was hard to miss. It all started as a sincere friendship forged on set, that unique space where characters blur into real life, and where long days and late nights can make people mirror each other's rhythms. The tabloids caught onto the spark early. A shared car after filming, a quiet coffee in a corner of the city, a glance that lingered a beat too long. Paparazzi lenses lapped it up, and fans began writing love stories in the comments. The scenes they shot felt more alive, the press tours more charged, and suddenly, the myth of them was everywhere. But the fairy tale didn't last. Those who watched closely noticed the shift first: fewer shared posts, a cooling tone in interviews, and a distant look that crept into photos where they once stood shoulder to shoulder. It ended without a grand statement or a dramatic public fallout, no long captions, no late-night explanations, just a quiet parting. For months, Elçin chose silence. She focused on work, stepped onto sets with her usual discipline, and let the rumors swirl in her absence. Tonight changed that. "Sometimes you lose to those you love. I loved deeply, but I got nothing back," she said, blinking away tears. "Looking back, I wish I had seen certain things earlier. Maybe regret isn't the perfect word, but this relationship, it wasn't good for me." Her voice didn't shake on that last sentence, she held it firmly, as if it was the string she needed to pull to detangle herself from what had been. It wasn't anger. It wasn't cruelty. It was a woman stating her boundary and finally closing a door that had been left ajar for too long. In minutes, her words took over social media. Clips of the interview were shared again and again, stitched into montages of their greatest on-screen moments, and set against music that only amplified the ache. Fans rallied with a wave of support, writing that you could see her truth right in her eyes. "If you hurt a woman like Elçin, you lose her," one comment read, echoed by thousands who pressed like and reposted. Others asked where Barış stood in all this, if he would speak, defend, explain, or simply disappear into the quiet. As of now, Barış Arduç has not issued any statement. That silence has stirred up an even louder chorus around them. Will they meet again on a red carpet and pass like strangers, or will an awkward smile betray the memories they once trusted each other with? Industry insiders have begun whispering about overlapping events, about the possibilities of new projects where their names might inevitably collide. It is not a scandal painted in fire and accusation, it is the colder, more complicated kind, the sadness of two people who couldn't find their way to the same page. Behind the scenes, those who know Elçin describe her as resilient and fiercely professional. They say she has thrown herself into her new work with an energy that feels both protective and purposeful. She's reading scripts late into the night, stepping into meetings with the steady calm of someone who has survived the storm and is intent on steering her own ship. The lesson in all of this, she hinted, is not just about heartbreak. It's about understanding the cost of giving and the price of staying too long. The story didn't end with that first confession either. Later in the evening, as cameras caught her leaving the venue, she was asked again whether she would ever speak to him. She paused, just a second, just long enough for the moment to etch itself into memory, and said, "Life is long. People cross paths. But some paths, no matter how familiar, aren't meant to be walked again." There was a grace in how she said it, a softness that took the bite out of the words and replaced it with acceptance. People forget sometimes that the line between actor and character can be perilously thin. In their case, the audience had watched them fall in love 100 different ways in 100 different scenes. It became easy to assume that reality would mirror the script. But real life has no retakes, and there is no director to call cut, reset, and try again. When the applause fades and the lights dim, what remains are two people struggling with the same questions the rest of us do. Did we listen to our instincts? Did we protect our peace? Did we recognize the difference between chemistry and compatibility? What makes this moment so powerful is not merely that a famous actress cried on camera. It's that she allowed herself to be messy and unguarded, to admit that love can make you brave and foolish at once. Her honesty read like a diary entry someone decided to read aloud. It pulled the conversation away from speculation and into something more human. The tabloids will use the dramatic lines, but fans heard the quieter truth tucked inside. She is done letting a silent heartbreak script her life. And yet, the questions won't stop. Will Barış speak? Will he respond with contrition, with denial, with nothing at all? The media is already sketching out every possible reaction. Some argue that his silence is a shield, a way to keep their private chapter from morphing into a public battleground. Others interpret it as indifference. Either way, the silence is a statement in itself, echoing louder with each passing day. Meanwhile, observers note subtle changes. Elçin's recent interviews linger on self-care. Friends mention she's drawing boundaries even in her work hours, saying no to what drains her and yes to what sparks. Her new collaborations promise roles that lean into strength without hardening the heart. At a table read last week, someone watching from the corner of the room swears they saw it, the precise moment when she sat straighter, her expression softened, and a line of dialogue clicked into place like it had been waiting for her all along. The love story that started on set and once looked inevitable now lives as a collection of scenes without an ending. Perhaps that's for the best. Not every story needs closure written in bold letters. Sometimes it's enough to acknowledge what was, to trace the arc of a feeling, and to set it gently on a shelf you no longer visit. She gave us that tonight. A way to understand her silence, a way to reinterpret the smiles, a way to separate the character from the woman who played her. As the night wraps up, hashtags trend, opinion pieces multiply, and short clips gather millions of views. But when the noise settles, what stands out is a single image, Elçin Sangu, standing under two bright lights, choosing her words carefully and trusting that the truth, however painful, would hold her up. Maybe she trusted too much. Maybe she stayed too long. But she knows now what it costs to keep walking through a door that keeps closing. Whether their paths cross again on a stage, a set, or a private room where only old memories are invited, the world will be watching. For now, one side has spoken and the other has not, and that asymmetry has become the axis around which this entire conversation spins. If there is redemption to be found, it will arrive quietly, in actions more than words, in respect more than explanation. Until then, she is working, learning, and reclaiming a story that had drifted out of her hands. That is the latest from the world of stars you love. We'll keep following every development, every whisper, and every unexpected twist, and we'll bring it to you as it happens. You're on Turkish series Stars, where we tell the stories that the red carpet can't. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series Stars and share this with fellow fans. See you in the next one.